Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura. We've got this very cool dragon egg. I think it's from Next Level Miniatures. I could be wrong. In other words, I don't remember. I'm working on getting stuff mixed up to do it. I'm gonna do sort of like a blue and yellow kind of look. We'll see how this goes. Blue, yellow, off-white. And then I'm gonna use mermaid scale to just bring in just on the probably just on the actual edges of the scale. We'll see how it goes. We got Hobgoblin Blue, then that plus some Palomino Gold. Over here we got Palomino Gold and Syrian Sand, and then some Dragon White and Syrian Sand up here. So don't know that I'll actually go all the way up to white. I tend to like doing blue undertones with like yellowish slash off-white things, especially for what I'm doing this will be the egg for a celestial dragon. If my players get that far, we'll see. And I'm going to use the shimmer scale mini for like the adult version of this dragon. And I've got some art that I'm going to use for inspiration. It's got kind of like so the reason for the mermaid scale is that, which I don't have a way to show you the art that I'm going off of, but it's got kind of a turquoise, like just at the very tips, like of the ears or scales and stuff in the artwork, but then like goes down to like off-white to yellow. So that is why I am doing this, the color scheme that I am. Something a bit more in between these two. We'll get that stirred up. It also gives me an excuse to actually use mermaid scale because it is a very pretty metallic. And I've got 2 bottles of it. So I just don't typically do colored metallics very often. Okay. Hey, there we go. That's not bad. See. There's technically Hobgoblin in the color that I primed this in, but it wasn't pure Hobgoblin Blue, so I was just seeing. That's why I have the Hobgoblin Blue on the palette. I wasn't sure how different it would be from the primed. And then after I get done with this egg, since I'm kind of hoping it doesn't take me very long to actually get it painted up, I will go back to painting the anniversary dragon, which for our campaign, or my campaign, that I'm going to be using it for, it will be known as Mordred. Been very excited with all the different hype and stuff around the Tomb Raider 30th anniversary for the video games, that is. So it might kind of making me want to get the recent games back out and play those again, play them some more. Lately, I've been playing Baldur's Gate again, Baldur's Gate 3 again. I like gave up on my first playthrough because I realized that there were some big things that I missed, I feel like, that were gonna make finishing it harder. I don't know. And just in general, their way of like not leveling, their difficulties, level, the way they worked in the game just seemed kind of imbalanced. Like, I only ever played on normal with the first one, but still had a heck of a time doing stuff in it. Normally, normal, like, you'll have some challenges, but it's not going to be like you die a million times and have to have like certain spells or certain things for it to like be beatable. Like, especially with one part of like a companion quest, kind of felt that way, where you really needed to like have certain spells prepared and whatnot. My second playthrough, actually, I did sort of a custom uh difficulty on it, so it's so I do like having a challenge in it. I don't want it to just be piece of cake. There were also some things that I did in the first run through that, like, when I made the decision, it wasn't actually clear what I was choosing. Um, so like, there's a point where you actually are going in and saving Will's patron. Um, Sorry, I thought I heard maybe a knock on the door. Anyway, and she's trapped in like a mind flayer pod. Sorry if none of you understand. You can ask, and I can try and explain it if you don't know what any of the D&D stuff is. So you get to choose between pushing the button on the pod controls to destroy her, basically, or to free her. I mean, I guess I think there's not, I mean, technically the option to just do nothing, but then I then the quest is kind of just still sitting there, you know? But yeah, I guess when you choose to annihilate her, it then basically destroys Will's character. I was like, oh, whoops. Technically, it sends him back, sends him to the nine hells, so the realm of demons and stuff in D&D. Okay. So this time around, for this play round, I saved his patron. I'm also playing as a different character, not just like replaying the same class and everything. Playing as a half-orc sorcerer, shadow sorcerer. I don't know, it's pretty fun. I feel like I hear more people playing wizards instead of sorcerers. I think it's fun. I am that type of person though that I can find things that I like in each class. Kind of forgot to do the layer of technically a greenish color. It's a mix of the blue and the yellow. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Do you guys have specific classes you prefer to play? Hey there, thanks, Geminix. Thanks for the follow. I was actually beginning to wonder if that part of the stream elements was working or not. Thanks. I tend to put up pics and such of things that I'm working on, or as well as what I finish. Which I just finished 2 minis last night. Or well, let's see. Technically, it was one last night and one over the weekend, but I hadn't posted pics yet of the wizard. I know that. Yeah, mainly just like fantasy stuff. The one mini that I finished last night is one of the few like more sci-fi stuff that I've done. Although I am hoping to paint a bust, or at least start painting a bust later this year. I've already got the bust. It's just some specific paints that I've seen demoed for Reapers, reformulating their paint line. So I'm gonna wait for that. Yeah, I hadn't like had any aspirations necessarily to do like try and delve into busts, but um there's a female warrior bust um that Reaper put out. I don't know if they're still selling it or not, or if it was just a like temporary run to see how it sold. I think it was called Merid or Merida. Do you paint minis as well then, or you paint other stuff? Oh, cool. I have not heard of that one, but I'm not really much in the know on the wargaming type side of stuff. I want to eventually get some kind of like superhero kind of like minis. I don't necessarily just want to go and get the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. Um, just more of like generic superheroes. But I also know that's not like the popular. Because I have Sentinels role playing rules. Yes. Yep. It's supposed to technically take place after, I think it's called Oblivion. Oblivion. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. But I know they have an expansion for that game that's called that. So they've got some of like the superheroes that are still around after that you can go off of, or there are rules to make your own superhero. I'm still kind of like reading through stuff. Uh, so it definitely like some of the mechanics and stuff. It's got some interesting mechanics. It's not just a copycat of Dungeons and Dragons, so to speak. At least not what I'm familiar with for Dungeons and Dragons, I guess. Some of the rules in it actually remind me of how Draw Steel is kind of coming together with their rules and stuff and how combat goes. So I wonder if like maybe one of the writers or something, or if they were influenced at all by some of the mechanics. I don't know if you are familiar at all with Draw Steel. So it's still technically not even out to buy. I'm not even sure if it's out to pre-order yet. I would have to ask my friend who's on the Patreon who would know. It's just another new new system. I don't know if I necessarily like. I don't think I would necessarily go out and buy it once it does actually come out. It's their goal is to make it like heroic. But that also means that like especially with the way they've got leveling up worked out and how you get experience points and stuff. When you're playing like 8 hours of it, it's just kind of can become a bit taxing because basically it just ends up being where all the combat is going to be hard because otherwise you won't really get enough experience points or any experience points. Like with D&D, you can have an easy fight and still get like some experience points out of it. But because that's not really the case with Draw Steel, so it's one of their big negatives for me from them with their thing. Granted, not most people probably aren't going to be playing for 8 hours, so it's not going to be that bad. That's just what our group is doing. Is like once a quarter we meet and play that. Oh yeah. There's lots of other things I do really like about it. Like their skills definitely allow for having a lot more fun and more role play, I feel like. And it's nice that it's not like, oh, everyone has all the same skills. It's just there's different modifiers. Or like with Draw Steel, not everyone's gonna have the same skills on their lists. Everyone has the same like, big main stats of like I think it's might, reason, intuition, and presence are the ones. So that is something I really love about it. I have not heard of that one. What kind of genre is that? Like got a specific genre that it fits? Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. I could definitely see like having a lot of fun with that. I don't know if like all of my friends or the people that I play with would, as far as like world building together. I try to I tried to do that like a tiny bit of like encourage them of like feel free to just like make up a town that a specific town or whatever that their character is from. Like I had a map of the world that of the homebrew world, but I try to encourage my players like, hey, just because I have a map doesn't mean like you can't say there's a town named such and such that your character's from. But none of them really did. So I was like, oh well. I do want to get Dagger Heart rules and stuff. Because I did do like their open beta when they did that a while back. And that was fun. I have not. This is actually the campaign I'm running, which is what this egg is for, actually. It's the first campaign that I'm running. Previously, I've just done one shots, so there really wasn't much time to allow for fun things like that. Probably not near future, but I do have sort of some similar things. Like if you ever read the Inheritance Cycle book series, it's where Aragon, or vaguely aware of the Aragon book itself. Some similar lore of like dragon riders and stuff like that. So I have homebrewed a character feat where they can bond with a dragon, but they have to have had a dragon egg for at least 8 hours. But much like when the world of the Inheritance Cycle, there are not many known dragon eggs just lying about. But yeah, if we make it all the way to the final boss, which will, I mean, that'll just kind of depend on like as time goes on if they can continue to commit to playing and stuff, because you know life happens sometimes. So we will see. That will be like an ancient dragon that they'll be going up against if they get there. Right now, we're basically kind of in an act one of the story. So we're basically getting towards the end of Act One, which is also kind of a little bit toward like finishing up conflicts and stuff for one of the characters. Some of the character specific goals or something, I guess you would call it. I don't know. Story arc. Nice. Yeah, the campaign I'm running, we try to meet like every 2 months. We just met in January, which I still need to get another message to actually ask people, the players, when they want to meet next. And I had kind of like had that idea in mind of trying to meet, like, kind of the goal being every 2 months. Gives me enough time that if I want to like paint something for it or have time to like plan things out enough. So that was something specified ahead of time. Yeah, the one I run, we only play for 3 hours. The draw steel one is I play in. I don't run that because I don't have access to the newest rules or anything like that. It's one of our friends who's on the Patreon for Matt Colville / Draw Steel. I also play in another game that is D&D, a D&D game. And that one's every other week. That one is a big group because originally they were having trouble getting enough people. I think they went through a spell where they were having a hard time getting enough people to play a game. I did not 3D print. This was part of a Kickstarter or something. I think it might have been from Next Level Miniatures. But then ever since I joined, like I know the DM for that one. I didn't know very many other people actually in the group. But he asked if I could join, and I was able to join to kind of help have like another person that could basically help keep the numbers up so that they could regularly play or more regularly play. But then ever since then, like, there's only been one or two people really gone. So then when everyone is actually there, we have 8 people at the table. The DM does a really good job, though, of handling that, because that would drive me crazy trying to handle like having 8 players. Yeah, we also don't, we meet every 2 weeks, and by the time everyone actually gets there and is set up, quite often we only end up having about 2 hours to play. Some of that can't be helped because some people are coming straight from work. So but that just means it's probably easier for the DM as far as planning wise, because we we aren't able to get like through a ton of stuff. Like uh, I have not done a online uh meetup, I guess. Yeah, when I was doing one shots, I had run for 6 players before, which I don't mind. It definitely can get to be a lot. Especially when the the groups that I did had some like younger kids in the mix, so having to kind of remind them to wait their turn and remind them of the rules and stuff. The campaign I'm currently running has just 4 players. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. 4 is a nice number. I was actually thinking about opening it up to another friend who initially had to turn it down because she was pregnant and just not sure that she was going to be able to commit to a game. But maybe that might have changed, so I might want to. I'm thinking I might just like re-extend the invite and just let her know like she could always join. Still, probably need to think of some ways of like helping at least one of my players be able to kind of like think through her character just to like maybe a question to have to think through or something to help her kind of get into the head of her character. And just in general try and encourage some more role playing from some of the others. Thanks. Cool. I'll try to keep that in mind. I do plan to do groceries, but if I remember, I will definitely check out your stream. Thanks for stopping by. Right, sorry. Toddler was coming out from his rest time. So I'm gonna finish up this blue shadow real quick. Because technically it's actually green because it's that same mix of the Hobgoblin Blue and Palomino Gold. Yeah, when I get this added back in, then I'll actually do a glaze of the Palomino Gold over it. That's what I did in the first column of, let's see, right here. It's easier to tell in person. I guess it's, at this point, it's hard to tell. On camera at least, but in person I can tell very easily still. All right, I'm gonna go get my toddler situated and then I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Woo. Do, do, do. Okay. Now it's time to glaze. The whole skeleton head, skulls and stuff don't quite fit in with what I've got planned. So I might like take some green stuff and sculpt over it. Just do like some simple, basically maybe just turn them into rocks. Maybe, I don't know, something simple. Because I'm not like a sculptor by any means. I have learned some very beginner stuff. But I feel like turning these into rocks wouldn't be that hard. They're already roundish. Just add something to the side where the face is and cover up anything else that looks more skull-like. I'm just bringing back in that highest highlight color I had just on the tips. Oops. Oh, I did finally get the skeleton warriors up for sale. See if I can pull that up. And I can share the link in chat. Oh, that reminds me, like, so I was, I think I mentioned I had cleaned out like reorganized the office a little bit, got more organized, and through that found like a digital camera that I wasn't using, so I sold that. And the buyer got back to me about with pictures of the product when it arrived, and oh my goodness, USPS really did a number on that. But thankfully, the actual camera itself and stuff was all still in one piece, but like all the outer box and as well as the box, like the camera box, it looked like it had gone through a shredder or something. Forgot what I was doing for a second. Let's see. Sharing. There's the short link. There. So the link I just posted will take you straight to that listing. Whatnot. Okay. see if how doing this metallic looks on it, on the mini. It's already kind of dried up on the palette. It's definitely very subtle. I kind of like it. I like that it's kind of actually kind of subtle. It's not as subtle as what it's looking like on camera. You can see it. You can actually see a little bit of like kind of a tint. As well as a shine too. More of a shine in person than there is on camera. Anybody got any fun plans this weekend? Or any supposedly there's like a multiple big sporting things this weekend. So I think the Olympics start, and then there's Super Bowl. And I thought I heard that there was like another thing, tournament or something happening as well. Maybe it's just a US thing. I plan on watching the Super Bowl. I don't usually ever get into the Olympics all that much, especially not the Winter Olympics. Sometimes, I guess, like sometimes if I've got friends or something that are watching it. I'm just trying to kind of get a better, cleaner job on this. I was a little sloppy. Oh, it's 3. Okay, I also just need to go back and kind of line. Don't know if you can hear that. Our neighbors are like second day in a row where they're revving their engine. I don't know why. Never done it before, so it's a little weird. Oops. Well, that's probably a good place to stop. We are past time. So, you can come back Monday, same time. And we're back with Mr. Archer dude. We still got his bow to paint. And I'll probably come back with that same cream color and do some, we've got some stitching here, there, some metallic to do technically on the bottom of the scabbard, and then if you look closely you can kind of see that there's the handle of a sword there, and there's the belt buckle. I think that's kind of the only, it looks like I got some brown on that, so I'll have to touch that up at some point. But not much left on this guy. So he's getting close already to being done, and he will go up on eBay. But thank you for joining. Hope you have a good weekend, whether you're into the sports things or not. And I'll see you Monday. All right, bye.